Hello all, this is Rich Knapp, aka Common Joe. Um, I'd kind of like to touch base on something. Now, I'm not supporting any brand or anything like that. This is a Common Joe video. Um, I just like to touch on the fact that some things that we forget about as we progress. When a lot of us, we all start out with the micros or sub micros because they're cheap to repair in a crash, and they're easy. They come with a transmitter majority of the time, and you just get them, you pick them up, you fly them. But we always end up, if you remember back to when we started, we were always tuning them to our own fly style. And this is ready to fly. So, and we end up tuning it anyways. Then we learn about flying and stuff, and more about the helicopters, and we move up a little bit. And we still tune it to our own liking. And then we advance more. When we learn more, we advance farther. And then we start looking at kits. Because then all of a sudden, we have the knowledge where we want to pick our own motors, our own servos, our own radio systems, our own flybarless, which there's tons of all of that out there. And every one is a little bit different. And from what I've seen, it's kind of like the same as I used to be an auto mechanic. It's kind of like with cars. Some things work better with other things. They work with them, but they don't work optimum with them. So we get into these kits, and all of a sudden we start into we lose the mentality of when we started and what we learned. And we get into this aspect that we think everything's going to be perfect out of the box. And this goes for anything. Well, on the kit side of it, manufacturers cannot test their kit with every single electronic combination on the market. I mean, it's just not possible. So what they do is they give you a starting point for setup. And we forget that that's only a starting point, that we still need to tune it to our fly style. Because every pilot out there, if there wasn't different fly styles, if everybody had the same fly style, there'd be no competitions because everybody'd be flying the same. So we need to step back, and we gotta look and remember that, hey, everything is a starting point that we need to actually do a little tuning to it, to our fly style. And because everybody likes something different. And then on the electronic side, you can get things wrong with electronics just like you can anything else. I mean, nothing is foolproof. Crap happens. And I've already had experience where I put a helicopter together, and I'm not necessarily saying an Oxy. I've had a lot of different kits, right? Because I'm not promoting any specific brand. Put a kit together, tuned it in, flew nice, flew good. Went out the next time to fly, and my tail wouldn't hold, and I could not dial my tail in. It's like, what the heck, And I had an extra flybarless unit. Well, I didn't have an extra servo. So then that's like, okay, I'll change the flybar unit because I don't have another servo, so I'll change the flybar unit and see if it's the servo or if it's the flybar unit or if it's mechanical. Well, I changed out the flybar unit, and within five minutes I had my tail tuned in. So all it was is suddenly that flybar unit didn't like the tail servo. It wasn't a bad tail servo. It wasn't a mechanics. It was just that those electronics, they didn't quite exactly communicate the best. And in that same aspect, with all these different varieties of electronics, you have varieties inside there. For example, like with servos, especially high voltage ones. You have such a wide range of voltage you can run on those servos to get it to react different. So it's like, we kind of forget, as we move up, we kind of forget that it's a hobby. That's why we got into it. We enjoy it. We enjoy personalizing it. And we forget about the fact that, yeah, I might have to do a little more tuning and tweaking on it to get it to fly my way. Because, like I was saying, companies cannot take every single model, every single kit, every single electronic, and they cannot test every single combination, and then, even if they would, then print a setup for that combination. It's actually, it's not possible. So what we need to do is remember that as we move up in the hobby, as we get into the more advanced, we're getting there because we're learning. We're getting there because we're learning how to do the tuning, how to set up our way, the way we like it. And that when we get information, it's only a starting point to get us in the air where we won't crash. But we still need to tune it. We still need to have the knowledge to figure out what we need to tune or where the issue is coming from. And we should really look at that before we start going to the brands and telling them that, hey, your stuff isn't any good. Because there is so many different combinations. And even like the electronics, a lot of them, they'll work with everything else. But they might not be 100% compatible. There might be like a 0.05 in that compatibility where it might cause you an issue, and check out and see if it's that 0.05 and go from there. But yeah, I just kind of want to talk about that a little bit because there has been times I've done it myself, and you step back and you think about that, and you think about what you learned as you moved up and why you learned it, and that will help. That will help go a long ways for deciphering things, and keeping your helicopter in the best shape that it's in and the best flying that it's in. So on that note, I won't blatherskite anymore. Like I said, I'm not promoting any brands, nothing like that. It's just a kind of like a reminder tip, and maybe a tip for the new pilots as they move up, to understand that as you move up, you're getting into that custom setup, because they are. Any kit is a custom setup. There's no two kits out there that are set up. They might have similar products or same products, but it's not set up the same. Because there's even little things like adjusting linkages and stuff. One person's quarter turn might be another person's eighth turn. For tightening screws and stuff, one person's tight is another person's just snug. So there's all that. One person's smooth is another person's vibes. So we got to remember all that. We need to remember that as we move up, it's getting more personal as we move up, and we need to learn how to adapt our personal fly style to what we choose to use, and find what works best for us and go from there. It's not a cut and dry. Once you get up in the kit range, it's not a ready to fly. We need to tune. We need to know how to tune. So anyways, on that, I'm done blatherskiting. Until next time, this is from Common Joe. Happy flying.